Look at my Star Trek toys!
What's up, everybody? Guess what? It's an emergency episode. Once again, although to be completely honest, it's not really that much of an emergency. We're not going to give you any information that 99% of you don't already know, but we did want to discuss what's going on with the Playmates Prodigy figures, which have been delayed, but expanded. Now, this is only part one of a two-part video series because what's going to happen here is we're going to look at a bunch of stuff and we're going to have a lot of questions and questions we don't have answers to, but never fear. We have already reached out to Playmates with probably an annoying amount of questions about the Prodigy line coming up in summer of 2023 and the future of the regular line. So get ready. As soon as we hear back from Playmates, we will rush back here with a true emergency video to get as much information as we can right to you. I couldn't do this, except for when I do, without my good buddy and co-host, Mike. How you doing there in the mic box?
I'm doing great. It's always lovely to be shrunk, because when you're shrunk, Keith, you feel nice, slim, trim, and supple.
Yeah.
I would say that we got a couple of messages on our various different videos. We appreciate everybody reaching out. Thank you for coming to us. Because you're right, we do want to get this. We want to help Playmates with this messaging. It seems as though they tried to kind of slip this announcement in the background. And so we've done the annoying thing, as Keith said. We've reached out to see if we can get any clarity. And maybe they'll take this opportunity to use our enormous platform, Keith.
Oh, huge.
To announce their thinking and their strategy. And maybe they're just buying themselves time. As you said, there's some expansion taking place. I am a little bummed, I'll say, because I've been excited about this line. But it does give me a chance to watch the show, which is probably helpful. So what do you got for us?
Well, first off, thank you to all the people who reached out. I know Brian Giles actually sent me screenshots of everything, which I very much appreciate, and everybody else who sent this information. So I was going to load a bunch of screenshots and do all of that, and then I realized, what am I doing all the work for? We can just go to their site and actually look at Playmates built this really cool LCARS site. So why don't we look at it? So this is their Prodigy site. So the bad news is when we try to pre-order any of these things or buy them, nope, it was gonna be October of 2022, which already passed. So it is now going to be summer of 2023.
That's quite a delay. That's quite a push.
It is quite a push. But if we go over here to the characters tab, we're going to find out maybe there's something new happening. So, because we have Del Rey and Murph, we have Gwendala, we have Yankum Pog and Zero, but what's this? Hologram Janeway now has a figure. They had announced that they were planning to, but we weren't able to see it yet. So
Del RL.
So if we look at our first figure here, with all their sounds,
cool.
Guess who's not getting paid for that? The people who created it.
The Varney Trust Fund.
Yeah, exactly. That is not coming in an inheritance to me at any point. But yeah, these are the 5-inch figures. One of the questions we had was Murph going to be a separate figure or be included? And he's included right here with the 5-inch Dal-Rel figure.
Pack them in. Let us begin.
Yes, so this will have the 14 points of articulation and new packaging. Now, and a question about the packaging, because I've seen something we're going to show you when all this is done. Is it real packaging? Is it not real packaging? Is it a prototype? I emailed Playmates, but what happens if you don't get right back to me? I'm going to show it on the internet with a question mark. So there you go. So he's going to come with 2 phasers in his choking hazards. So that's going to be fun. So that's that figure. We've seen these, but we can get a little bit more detail here. Going to come with the heirloom sword, shield, and batleth. Now, if we zoom in a little bit, we can get a little bit better view of the figure. which is pretty cool. It just goes big and small. It doesn't, oh, there we go. So it looks like they're using the same sort of light-based paint that they did on the other figures, the UV paint, which I still don't understand because, I'm just not that smart. But it does look like it has a very similar construction and build and articulation to the regular 2022 line. But nice tattoo. You get a lot of details like that. Here's some I haven't done yet, Mike. You want to look at the back and see how we're doing with our copyright. Oh, they're not there yet.
That tells me that that's definitely a prototype.
It's definitely a prototype. Also, this is interesting. This has the twisty thigh articulation that some of the later original line had. That the 2022 regular Star Trek does not. So is that an addition? Is that a change? I'm curious about that. But because otherwise it looks very similar in how it's constructed.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah,
All
that's
right.
a cool figure, though. I gotta say, I'm into.
Oh, it's a great figure.
Yeah.
And you can see
there's a little
here,
ankle artic.
Well, yeah, and the ankle. This is not a ball and socket. This looks like it has a pin in there.
Yeah, it's a pin and rocket.
Thanks. Glad we could clock it. Boo. So, all right. So that's interesting. And if we let's look at Jankum Pog here because again, it's a 5-inch figure.
So cool. Did we see that one before?
Yeah, we saw this one before, but we haven't had this level of detail.
That is rad. Rad.
So, I mean, it's a really cool character. This is what you can do with animation that you can't do in the standard in live action. So it's hard to get a sense of the articulation here. The paint job looks great. This does have sort of looks like a combination of the ball and socket and a pin or a regular articulation. That's interesting. I don't quite know how they're doing that yet. Let's look at the back. Yeah, so there's no copyright yet. So we're still in the prototype phase. But I love all the detail in the metalwork there.
The possibility exists, and maybe we'll get some clarity from Playmates, that this extra time to bake allows them to potentially take in some of the feedback that they've received. So
it's possible.
Even though they said in that one email to you or in that interview, I can't remember one of the two, that they weren't really, there was nothing they could do. That seemed like sort of a PR response anyhow.
Well, I mean, it's possible the copyright language and size is not their choice, but certainly I think you could have an argument for placement very much is their choice. And if there's another way to put them, I don't know. We'll see. So
it's not the size of the copyright, Keith. It's where you stick it.
0.
Yeah, that's right. So let's take a look at 0 here now that we can zoom in a little bit more. Has a clear floating stand. That's fun. Has a tricorder and medical kit. So let's zoom in. This is a nice little feature here.
Did you ever play? Sorry for the tangent. Mike hasn't talked to a lot of people today. Did you ever play the game Portal? The puzzler Portal?
No.
All right. Well, anybody out there who's played Portal, that looks like that one character in Portal. There you go.
Okay.
There you go.
There's
cutting insight.
Oh, so good. I love the color scheme.
Yeah, really cool.
The red and gold and gray. Like that's just a really.
It's got that.
Cool
It's like scheme. It's like the Iron Man meets Pokeball.
Yeah. Delicious.
Not
okay.
Pokeball, Keith. Pokeball.
Oh. All right. Well, look. Here is the new one. This is the one we haven't seen yet.
Hologram Janeway.
Hologram Janeway. Look, it's a good thing nobody's looking at me because my computer's down to 18 frames per second. So like, we're gonna have choppy Keith.
It's funny because I'm at 60 frames, so it's got to be choppy Keith. Smooth Mike.
Smooth? Well, boy, isn't that what we're used to?
He got a haircut and he's so smooth now.
Oh. I've been cutting my own hair since the
Well,
entire pandemic.
If that's not a analogy, I don't know what is.
If
Okay.
that doesn't explain our personalities. All right, so here is our 5-inch Janeway, which includes a Type 3 phaser rifle, computer tablet, and coffee mug. Of course, you got to have the coffee mug.
Am I
So
missing
this
something?
is
Where's the half hologram part? Or is it because she's a hologram on the show?
she's a hologram on the show. So this is, it looks like a standard Janeway figure. Like, this doesn't look as animated-y as I would have expected. This looks close to what they would produce on a normal figure, right?
Yeah, I can't wait to hold that side by side to the years from the early line.
And this is interesting because we haven't seen a female figure other than Michael Burnham.
Also, that's not done. That's clearly an early stage because you can tell that's painted on. The communicator is painted on rather than molded in.
Yes. Yep.
So that's
and
that's
this looks a little
in.
unfinished as
Yeah.
well.
I think that's an early. Hey, we're doing this one.
Yeah. I think it's. I think
And
it's
didn't
basic.
the earlier hologram series? Oh no, which was the series where they were like their legs were clear, so it looked like they were beaming in? That was like a transporter
The
series.
transporter series.
Okay, so that's different.
Yeah, not a hologram series, a transporter series. But yeah, I mean, conceptually, I'm on board thus far. I like it. It's interesting. I don't know if this is a necessarily a choice of Playmates or a choice of the show to have bun Janeway. Janeway had about 300 different hairstyles, and her up bun was never my favorite.
Well, which does she appear? How does she appear on the show?
I mean, I saw it so long ago. I'd have to go back and I don't know if it was the up bun, but the up bun is certainly the easiest one to replicate on a figure. So I get that.
No, she's got the up bun in the. It seems in the
show itself.
Yeah.
Interesting. Anyway, I'm excited about having the Janeway figure. This looks like it's going to slide in next to the regular figures, not the animated figures, but or sort of splitting the difference a little bit. But anyway, so Mike, that is not the only new thing that they have announced in the Prodigy line.
Okay.
No. So, and this is my speculation as to why, why we got the delay. And that is so they could release A, Janeway with the rest of the figures, but B, are you ready, buddy?
Can't wait.
We're going to, well, not yet, but we're going to get there. We're going to get a phaser.
Oh, that's cool as heck.
Look at that cool, fancy phaser. I mean, it certainly looks much more futuristic compared to the 90s ones, which, why wouldn't it have a touchscreen iPhone thingy on your phaser for all your settings?
How cool would it be if that wasn't a sticker? Like, if
I
that
know,
was
right?
like
If
some
this
sort of LCD style thing.
Yeah, I mean, LEDs are cheap.
Yeah, even if it just had a couple screens, you could like scroll through. That'd be cool.
Yeah, or I mean, I imagine it'll at least be backlit, which will look really cool. And I'm assuming this is going to come with the lights and sounds like the other phasers. I mean, and so that feels like a fantastic opportunity for some really freaking cool to play with. And we don't know much. This obviously is it's a sort of prototype rendering where we don't see the screw holes and so on and so forth that we're going to get from here. But it's really exciting to know that it's coming.
And Playmates, hey, if you've got some that you're cooking and you want an early opinion, we have a small but mighty audience that would help give their opinion. So
you
send them our way.
Your prototype torn apart on YouTube? Come to us. But that would be I think it's cool. I think that's a neat evolution of the phaser, and the colors of it are very kiddish and cartoonish. It's not like badass. This is more like the Dustbuster from Next Gen, but an upgraded version of it. And I'm glad to have a toy of that. That's going to be fun.
Well, it stinks to have to wait for sure. 100% stinks to have to wait. But if you're going to make me wait, but you're giving me more, that is at least that can satiate me. Just that idea.
And I understand from their standpoint wanting to release the whole line together.
Mm-hmm.
right? You don't like doing it piecemeal. I'm not sure if you can keep the momentum of the sort of the marketing momentum, the shelf space momentum, if you're just doing a new thing every couple of months as opposed to launching it
It
all
is
at once. You want it to
questionable.
take up space.
It does raise the question though, if you are going to add new stuff, why not make your big splashy announcement and and buy yourself some time? But I guess that's maybe because there's nothing to show yet. It's just kind of this coming soon rendering. I don't know.
Well, it's not enough of a new breaking news that people who aren't us
Mhm.
are going to necessarily like pick it up. But here's something you might want to pick up, Mike. Wait for it. Because we're getting the ship.
Oh, that's like probably cool.
I mean, yeah, but how cool? I mean, the ship on the show looks fantastic. It is the coolest new Trek ship they've put out in a long time. And if they're able to
The
do
USS
that,
Protostar.
yeah, Protostar, it's amazing. I
Oh,
love
that's
the look
cool.
of this ship. So this is an exciting one to get. So if they do it in the same scale as their standard ships, which I can't imagine that they wouldn't, that looks cool as heck. And I this is one I'm really excited to have on my shelf.
Yeah,
Uh,
dude.
so okay, so if you got to delay it, give me something cool. And that ship, it's cool. And I think whether I'm a kid and this is my first entry into Star Trek, or I'm me, uh, I'm very excited. Obviously this is similar to the phaser. This is an early rendering of it. I don't think this is the final product at all, but if they're able to pull it off relatively close to that, I'm going to be very excited. So the last thing that I want to show you is I found this on a Nickelodeon fan page, because Nickelodeon is associated with the show, so it has some possibility of that, but possible packaging for the figures. So unclear if these are legitimate or not. I have reasons to believe both, but these showed up online as possible packaging.
They've sort of got
Um,
the design theme of the disco figures we've seen recently,
mhm.
which are also how the figures are presented internationally. The other figures, is my understanding correct?
That's right. However, this also has the design theme of that fake Discovery ship uh,
Ah,
that they put up there. And let me tell you what else. The other reason I think there's a good chance this is fake. You can't see any of the choking hazards. You don't see how the figure itself is packaged into the ship. These are just the graphics rendering on there. And B, there's no Playmates logo on the figure itself. So I think smell test says this is not legitimate. These are not the packages. But I've reached out to Playmates to confirm or deny. So we'll find out in the next video if that is indeed the case. Folks, what do you think? How do you feel about the Faustian bargain of the delay versus getting more fun stuff? And yeah, just how do you feel about the Janeway figure, the ship, the phaser? I know I'm excited about all those things.
I hope it's not a piecemeal release. That's my biggest fear right now, because even that first wave of the new 2022 figures, I'm having a difficult time finding a lot of them in store. Like, I've been looking for that Enterprise ship myself, cannot find it. And there's something, I don't know why it is, Keith. It's so easy to buy everything online right now, but there's something about wanting to go into a store and get it. It's still, there's that kid part of me that is all about that.
absolutely.
So, we haven't seen how they're gonna, where they're gonna shelve them, or if there's gonna be any sort of shelf branding.
I asked Playmates about that.
Mhm.
If they were going to be in communication with the retail stores about how to get a little bit more shelf space, and just sort of saying, like, anecdotally, we're getting pictures of them sort of being thrown haphazardly in random places. And do you have a plan to increase your footprint and make that a little bit better? And yeah, I mean, obviously it's either a good thing or a bad thing, right? That they're hard to find, right? It's a good thing, meaning if the distribution is going well, it means that they're just selling really well, which is great news. If it's because they have distribution issues and display issues, that's less of a good thing.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to know. I to be a fly on the wall and know what the strategy is. I mean, and what do the sales look like, especially through the holidays? Is it
I'd love to know.
Online I imagine that their market share has to be just much more online than retail, but who knows?
I don't know. I mean, I asked, like, how do you feel about how your sales are going, and how is that going to be encouraging to move forward or not? I don't think they're going to answer, but I wouldn't. But
that said, we are asking. So
we asked. No, 100%. We're asking, and I've asked, some questions about the future of the regular line, what's coming up for series, how large is Series 2 going to be?
I'd love to get somebody on the show, but we'll see.
Well, you
slowly
never know.
but surely. Yep.
You never know. So thank you for watching our emergency episode here.
Part one.
Part one. Yeah, stick around for part 2 when we hear back from Playmates. We will go through the entire thing, every question I asked, every answer I got, and hopefully get a little bit more information that justifies you spending your time here with us. We thank you for watching. Give us a like, give us a subscribe. Tell a friend who might also be interested in the content that we do. We have a Patreon. I'm not going to do the whole thing, but patreon.com/K&M. Get all of our bonus content and other fun stuff. Wait, I can do it. So patreon.com/K&M. I forgot I preloaded it. And you can join Brian Kaufman, Casey Clark, Cloudlover69, Jason Moe, Andrew Hayes, Jorge Navoa, and the mysterious Worfs, Boat Shivs, or Other Body Parts, CRM Productions, Charles Babbage, at Grim Toys, Delusions at Noon, and you get tons of fun bonus stuff. Mike, what kind of fun bonus stuff have
you get to watch
lately?
Me watching Deep Space Nine before Keith releases us reviewing each episode of Deep Space Nine a day early this week on the YouTube feed. And
did I?
Yeah, you did it Tuesday. It's usually Wednesday. But guess what? You know what? We could do
I don't know what day it is. I don't know what day it is.
Channel. We watch the animated series. We release other unboxing of other stuff. We got a lot of fun stuff happening. You never know what's going to pop up. We got a great community of people engaging in conversation. It's wonderful. Join us. We appreciate it.
Yes, indeed. All right, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Till then, this has been...
Look at my Star Trek toys!